You're standing on the walls of Baghdad, January 29th, 1258. Beyond the gates, stretching to the horizon in every direction, is an army of 150,000 men. Mongol cavalry, Chinese siege engineers and Yuan cavalry, Persian auxiliaries, the largest military force assembled in the medieval world. And they're here for one man, Al-Musta'sim, 37th Caliph of the Abbasid dynasty, successor to the Prophet Muhammad, commander of the faithful, the most powerful religious figure in the Islamic world. He's standing next to you on these walls. He's smiling, because Al-Musta'sim doesn't believe he can lose. He is the Caliph. He rules by divine mandate. 500 years of Abbasid dynasty flow through his veins. Baghdad is the greatest city on earth, center of learning, culture, wealth, power. And the man outside the gates, Hulagu Khan, grandson of Genghis Khan, is just another barbarian who doesn't understand civilized power. Al-Musta'sim is about to learn a lesson in power that will echo across 7 centuries. This is the documented account of what happens when absolute religious authority meets absolute military force, and why the Mongols made sure every ruler from China to Egypt watched what they did to Baghdad's royal family. If you believe that history's most calculated demonstrations of power need to be remembered exactly as they happened, consider liking this video and subscribing. Your support helps us expose the strategic brutality that shaped our world. Let me show you how Hulagu Khan sent a message that changed the course of human history. Baghdad, January 1258, the greatest city in the medieval world. Population, nearly 1 million people. For context, London has 80,000. Paris has 100,000. Baghdad is in a different category entirely. The House of Wisdom contains the largest library on earth. Hundreds of thousands of manuscripts, mathematics, astronomy, medicine, philosophy, centuries of accumulated human knowledge. The markets are legendary: Persian silks, Chinese porcelain, African gold, Indian spices. Trade routes from 3 continents converge here, and ruling over all of it, Caliph Al-Musta'sim. Here's what you need to understand about Al-Musta'sim. He inherited a position, not an empire. The actual military power of the caliphate collapsed decades ago. Regional governors rule independently. The caliph's authority is spiritual, not political. But Al-Musta'sim doesn't see it that way. He believes in the myth of Abbasid invincibility. So when Hulagu Khan sends envoys in late 1257 demanding submission, Al-Musta'sim refuses. Not just refuses, insults them. The envoys deliver Hulagu's message. Submit peacefully. Pay tribute. Acknowledge Mongol supremacy. Your people and your city will be spared. Al-Musta'sim's response, recorded by multiple chroniclers: "Young man, you have just started your career, and good fortune has smiled on you. But you have reached the limit of your life. Do you not know that from the east to the west, all servants of God are under my command? I will destroy you with a prayer." Read that again. I will destroy you with a prayer. He's threatening to pray the Mongol army to death. Here's what makes this especially insane. Al-Musta'sim has reports, detailed intelligence on what the Mongols do to cities that resist. Damascus fell in 1243, 70,000 dead. Aleppo in 1260, thousands impaled. The pattern is crystal clear, but he doesn't believe it applies to him. He's the Caliph, God's representative on earth. Hulagu Khan receives this response in his camp outside Baghdad. According to Persian chronicler Juvayni, who was present, Hulagu reads the message, doesn't react, folds the letter carefully, hands it to his Chinese siege engineer, Khan, and says, "Show me the foundations." Think about what this means. Not destroy the walls, not kill the defenders. Show me the foundations. He wants to erase Baghdad down to the ground it was built on. The siege begins January 29th, 1258. The Mongol army divides into 2 wings. They surround Baghdad completely. No one enters it. No one leaves. Chinese engineers begin constructing siege weapons. Not battering rams, not catapults. They build devices the medieval world has never seen. Counterweight trebuchets that can throw 200-pound stones with pinpoint accuracy. Fire rockets filled with gunpowder and sulfur. Primitive flamethrowers using refined petroleum. Al-Musta'sim, watching from the walls, sends out his army. Baghdad's garrison, 50,000 men. Cavalry, infantry, archers. Well-trained, well-equipped. They march out February 3rd to break the siege. The Mongols let them advance, draw them away from the walls. Then cavalry units swing around both flanks simultaneously. The garrison is surrounded in open ground. It's not a battle, it's a slaughter. Contemporary accounts describe the Mongol cavalry moving like a single organism. Feigned retreats draw the Baghdad cavalry into kill zones, archers firing from impossible distances. Surgical precision. By nightfall, 45,000 of Baghdad's garrison are dead. The remaining 5,000 flee back to the city. Al-Musta'sim watches this from the walls. Watches his entire army destroyed in 6 hours. He sends new envoys to Hulagu, offers tribute, offers gold, offers anything except submission. Hulagu sends them back with a message. Too late. You had your chance. Now the first want your family. Here's where the psychological warfare begins. February 5th, Hulagu's trebuchets begin bombarding the walls. Not random bombardment, targeted destruction. The Chinese engineers have calculated exact stress points. Walls that took 500 years to build start collapsing in sections. But here's what's sinister. They're not trying to breach the walls yet. They're demonstrating that they can. They collapse one section, letting them understand that the Mongols are choosing not to come in yet. February 10th, the eastern wall is compromised. Mongol forces could enter any time. They don't. Instead, Hulagu sends another message to Al-Musta'sim. Send me your vizier. Send me your eldest son. Send them to negotiate. And Al-Musta'sim does it. Think about this decision. He sends his chief minister and his son, his heir, outside the walls into the Mongol camp. They're never seen alive again. No elaborate execution, no public display. They just disappear, and Hulagu never mentions them. This is calculated psychological torture. Al-Musta'sim doesn't know if they're alive, dead, imprisoned, or tortured. The uncertainty is worse than knowing. February 13th. The bombardment intensifies. Sections of the wall are now rubble. The city is indefensible. Al-Musta'sim finally capitulates. Sends word he'll surrender personally. Meet with Hulagu personally. Negotiate terms. Hulagu agrees. Sets conditions. The Caliph must come personally. Must bring his remaining family. Must open all city gates. Al-Musta'sim has no choice. February 15th, 1258, he walks out of Baghdad with his 3 remaining sons, his daughters, and 3,000 members of his court. The gates of Baghdad open behind them. Here's what Al-Musta'sim still doesn't understand. This isn't a negotiation. This is a public execution designed to be witnessed by the entire Islamic world. Hulagu receives Al-Musta'sim in his tent, offers him tea. They sit. Hulagu asks politely about Baghdad's treasures. Where is the gold stored? Where are the weapons caches? Where is the library? Al-Musta'sim answers. Thinking this is diplomacy. Thinking he's negotiating for his city's survival. Hulagu thanks him. Signals to guards. The Caliph's 3 sons are brought forward, made to kneel in front of their father, and beheaded, one by one. While Al-Musta'sim watches, Persian chronicler Wasaf records Al-Musta'sim's reaction. He uttered no sound. His face showed no expression, as if watching strangers die. Shock. Complete psychological shutdown. His mind can't process what's happening. Here's what makes this especially calculated. Hulagu doesn't kill the Caliph yet. Keeps him alive. Makes him watch what comes next. February 15th to February 20th, the Mongol army enters Baghdad. What follows is systematic, not chaotic pillaging, organized destruction with specific objectives. First, the libraries, the House of Wisdom. Hulagu's forces throw hundreds of thousands of manuscripts into the Tigris River, so many books that chroniclers report the river ran black with ink for 6 months. Think about what this means. Centuries of accumulated knowledge. Original works by Al-Khwarizmi, Al-Kindi, Ibn Sina. Mathematical treatises, astronomical observations, medical texts. Gone. Why? Because knowledge is power. And Hulagu wants the world to understand. Mongol power is the only power that matters. Second, the population. House by house, street by street, systematic execution. Here's where the documentation becomes almost clinical. Mongol forces divide the city into sectors, each sector assigned to specific units. Orders are clear. Execute all military-age males. Enslave women and children. Kill anyone who resists. This isn't random violence. This is organized extermination. Estimates of the death toll vary. Conservative figures, 200,000 figures, 200,000. Higher estimates, 800,000. The truth is probably somewhere between. But the scale is incomprehensible. For comparison, the entire population of London in 1258 was 80,000 people. Baghdad's death toll in 1 week exceeded the total population of England's largest city by a factor of 3 to 10. Al-Musta'sim is kept alive through all of this, forced to watch his city burn, forced to listen to the screams, forced to witness the complete destruction of everything his dynasty built over 500 years. February 20th, 1258. Hulagu decides the Caliph has suffered enough psychologically. Time for the physical demonstration. Here's where Mongol religious sensitivity creates one of history's strangest execution methods. Mongol tradition forbids spilling royal blood on the ground. They believe it angers the spirits and brings bad luck. So they get creative. Multiple sources, Persian, Chinese, Armenian chroniclers agree on what happens next. Al-Musta'sim is wrapped in carpets, tightly. So tight, he can barely breathe. Then he's trampled by horses. Think about the symbolism. The Caliph's successor to the Prophet, commander of the faithful, spiritual leader of millions, literally crushed under the hooves of Mongol war horses. No blood spilled on the ground, just bones breaking inside a carpet. He takes hours to die. Here's what makes this a message to the world. Hulagu makes sure everyone knows. Envoys are sent to every major Muslim city: Cairo, Damascus, Mecca, Medina. Each receives a detailed account of Baghdad's fall. Each receives descriptions of how the Caliph died. Each receives a list of casualty numbers. The message is clear. Your spiritual authority means nothing. Your traditions mean nothing. Your cities mean nothing. Only Mongol power matters. And if you resist, this is your future. The psychological impact cannot be overstated. The Abbasid Caliphate had ruled for 500 years. 5 centuries of unbroken succession. The idea that someone could simply erase it, kill the Caliph like any common criminal was unthinkable. Until it happened. Chronicler Ibn al-Athir, writing shortly after, "Would that my mother had not given me birth. Would that I had died before this and been forgotten." This is a catastrophe such as had never happened before. The fall of Baghdad doesn't just end a dynasty. It fundamentally changes how Islamic civilization understands power. Before 1258, spiritual authority is paramount. The Caliph's word is law. Divine mandate protects the faithful. After 1258, military force is the only reality. God doesn't protect cities. Walls, dulls do. Armies do. Here's the question nobody wants to ask. Was Hulagu right? Not morally, obviously the massacre was horrific, but strategically, did the calculated brutality work? Yes. Absolutely yes. After Baghdad, when Mongol armies approached other cities, they surrendered immediately. Damascus opened its gates without resistance. Aleppo capitulated. Even Cairo, 1,500 miles away, paid tribute to avoid Baghdad's fate. One act of extreme violence prevented dozens of sieges. From a purely military perspective, the destruction of Baghdad saved Mongol lives and resources. This is the cold logic of terror. Make one example so horrific that it prevents future resistance. Hulagu Khan understood this perfectly. The execution of Al-Musta'sim and his family wasn't revenge, wasn't madness. It was communication, a message written in blood, smoke, and 200,000 corpses. Here's what haunts me. We remember Baghdad's destruction. We remember the libraries burning. We remember the Caliph wrapped in carpets, bones breaking under horse hooves. You know what we don't remember? The names. Al-Musta'sim had daughters. Their names aren't in the chronicles. We don't know what happened to them. Slavery? Execution? Slavery? Execution? Forced marriage to Mongol officers? Erased, not worth recording. He had courtiers, musicians, poets, scholars, thousands of people with lives, families, dreams. The chronicles list them as numbers, 3,000 members of the court executed, not people. Statistics. The only individuals who survive in historical memory are the ones who were useful to the narrative. The Caliph himself, his sons, a few named viziers. Everyone else is just part of the body count. This is what systematic violence does. It doesn't just destroy bodies, it destroys memory, erases entire populations from history, reduces human beings to casualty figures in military reports. And here's the thing, this pattern continues. Throughout history, different empires, different methods, same result. The Mongol destruction of Baghdad became a template. When Tamerlane sacked Delhi in 1398, he deliberately invoked Baghdad's example. When the Ottomans conquered Constantinople in 1453, they referenced Mongol tactics. The message Hulagu sent in 1258 echoed for centuries. Modern Baghdad sits on the ruins of the medieval city. During construction projects, workers still find mass graves, layers of ash and bone 3 feet deep. The archaeological evidence of systematic extermination. The Tigris River still flows through the city. Same water that ran black with ink from 100,000 destroyed books. Same riverbanks where thousands of bodies were dumped. History doesn't disappear. It just gets buried. If this exposed a calculated act of strategic brutality that shaped world history, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we're going to keep uncovering the documented lessons written in blood that textbooks tried to erase. Drop a comment with your thoughts on how demonstrations of absolute power still echo today, and I'll see you in the next investigation.